Hello, guys. We are back. Hope you are doing well. It is good to see everybody. Big thank you to everybody who joined us a little while ago for Woo Woo Wednesday. Let me say hey to Wakazashi's Tea House. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well today. Let me know, Gray, what you think of the show so far, because I think you said you were going to give it a shot. But we are back. It is episode 3 and 4 of Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, and it's really hit its stride now. So let me jump into it. Very similar to yesterday, I'll try to avoid too many spoilers, but give as much detail and my thoughts on the episode as I can. So, episode 3 was The Autopsy. And this was by David Pryor as director, and it's based on a short story by Michael Shea. Um, again, really strong cast. So we had F. Murray Abraham as the lead role. Glyn Turman was in there, and Luke Roberts as well made up the principal cast of this particular episode. And this answers the question: are we alone in the universe? Say hey, we've got Sentient Zildo, great to see you. We've got Larry, hey there, and Zakarov 315, great to see you guys. Good evening, good afternoon, hey there. So, as I was saying, the third episode is The Autopsy, and I actually liked it. I really did. I thought it was a really interesting take. It's a bit of a slow burn of an episode until probably the third act. It's a little bit longer than the previous 2 episodes. I think this one came in at about an hour, and the story that they needed to tell needed that little bit of extra time because it builds up and builds up. And a heads up to anybody, if you don't like gory horror, if you don't like body horror, this is probably not the episode for you because this was quite graphic. As the title suggests, it takes place in an autopsy room, and that is what our lead character is. Dr. Carl Winters, played by F. Murray Abraham, a coroner who has been brought in to get to the bottom of this, what they thought initially was an explosion in a mine. So this guy that they've blamed, he caused an explosion in the mine and it killed, I think, 10 other miners around him. And what they want to know is why. Why did he do it? How did he do it? And what was he hiding? But right from the start, they say that this guy who they blamed is that he's not normal. He's not human. That's and they weren't wrong. This was a really strong episode. Great principal cast. Again, really great use of practical effects, especially if you don't mind seeing corpses kind of being cut up. but it was a really interesting story. And we talk a lot about aliens. We talk a lot about, so are we alone? Um, Having seen this episode, kind of hope that we are. Let me jump back and see who else we have got. We've got D-Bud, great to see you. We've got Brandon, the anime guy. Hello there, good to see you. And a big welcome and thank you to Dadman Walking 55. Great to see you and good evening. Thank you so much for joining. Had the pleasure of getting to talk with Dadman on Sunday about Universal rides and memorabilia. So huge thank you for him for having me on. Had a lot of fun with that. So thank you so much. Where did I get to? Oh yeah. So there's this explosion in the mine. The coroner is asked to come in by his friend, the sheriff. These guys have known each other for a very long time. He knows that the coroner is a very no nonsense kind of guy, and he's going to get to the bottom of what caused this explosion. And he works on his own. Um, Unfortunately, our main character is dying. He is very ill. This kind of comes into play later on in the episode as well, which is it has a really nice twist to it. One that I think works incredibly well. So he's tasked to start the autopsies to see what these guys died from. He starts opening up the bodies. He realizes that these aren't the wounds or the injuries that you would expect from an explosion. You know, these bodies have been drained of blood, the lungs have collapsed, the heart, there's no blood in the heart, and each of them has a little kind of puncture wound somewhere on the body, and he can't quite figure out what the heck is going on. So he, after a couple of these bodies, he then decides, you know what, I'm going to go to the guy that we thought was the killer. We're going to do the autopsy on him and see what answers we can get from that. And that's where this episode really kind of picks up. Um, and it's a really kind of interesting back and forth between these two characters after that. There's a little bit of backstory about the character. He kind of goes by two different names. He takes on a different identity. He's called Joe, and then later on he's called Eddie. And he kind of disappears and then comes back. And people say that he's not quite what they remember. You know, there's something not quite right about him now, but he's kind of welcomed back into the community, and he goes to work in the mine. And one of the things that he brings back with him is this weird kind of orb that he said he found in the forest, and his landlady hates the thing. She wants him to get rid of it. She doesn't want anything to do with it, and they actually find this weird orb in his apartment, and it's pulsating and making this kind of warbling sound. At this point, you really wouldn't want to go near anything like that, but they do anyway, and they pick it up and bring it. It's a very strange episode. I think some people won't like it because it's a bit of a slow burn right up into the end. And they tried, as I say, to set up this kind of twist, this kind of cat and mouse game going on between these two characters that play off each other. It works, and I actually liked it. I thought it was a good episode. I preferred the previous episode that I talked about last night. I think that was much stronger, but this one, I'd say it was still a pretty solid way to go. Let's see who else we have got. Great to see you guys. Wakasashi said, I need more free time to sit down and enjoy this series. Absolutely, yeah. They're very watchable, and I talked about it yesterday. It's very easy to just sit down and watch these episodes. I don't think any of them are longer than an hour, and the previous two were about 40, 45 minutes respectively. So they're a pretty easy watch, and each of them are self-contained stories. So it's not too hard to kind of get into. And some of them, if you don't like the idea of them, you can just skip it entirely. I talked about yesterday how in each of the sections there seems to be kind of a overarching theme that links the two stories together, even though they're standalone. Um, Now, I guess the link between these 2 would be the sense of belonging. Um, yeah, this one obviously deals with a alien entity. It can never really belong here, wherever it comes from. So it's an outsider. And then that leads into the next episode, which is called The Outside, which I'll get to in a couple of minutes. But if I had to guess, I would say that's the connection between these 2. Um, whereas before the previous episodes, it was reaping what you sow, getting what you deserve, depending on your behavior and how you treat others. It's a really interesting concept, and I think it plays out incredibly well. Once more, we have Del Toro introducing the episodes as before, and he's very deadpan with it. I really like his delivery, so I think it works incredibly well. Like I said, very kind of Hitchcock-esque with how he does this. Wakazashi said, "Enjoyed the Lovecraft ending of the first one." Me too. Absolutely. Brandon, great to see you. Says, "What free time watching 20 plus current season anime shows eats up most of my time." That I can imagine. Yes. And Dadman says, "Free time? What's that?" Yeah. Between YouTube and real life, yeah, it's hard to fit things in sometimes, guys, isn't it? You're absolutely right. Danman says, "Did I hear correctly that they're standalone? Like you don't need to watch each one before the next?" Absolutely, yeah. They are all self-contained stories. You can watch any of them in any particular order. It doesn't matter. Each one of them has a hand-picked director that takes helm and tells the story. Some of them are based, like yesterday, based on books, and today based on a book as well or a short story. But yes, you can watch them in any order or not at all. You can just pick the ones that you think sound the most interesting. So let me think. What would I give the autopsy? Like I said, it was an interesting idea. I like the whole cat and mouse with the entity and with Dr. Winters. I think very strong performances put in by the principal cast. Uh, Again, great use of lighting. And one thing that I did notice about this was the music and the sound effects that they used as well were really spot on. Wasn't so much in the way of jump scares like we had in the previous episodes, but it was more visceral, it was more in your face kind of horror. And later on in the episode, it's more oh my god, I don't want this to be, the fate of this poor guy. But it definitely answers the question, are we alone in the universe? Um, and I think it plays it out really well. If you've ever seen anything similar, you'll kind of recognise the trope that they've gone for, but it's still really enjoyable. Out of 10, I guess I would give this a 7. It wasn't quite as strong as Graveyard Rats, which was yesterday, but it was still a lot of fun. And F. Money Abraham was a fantastic um, lead in this. Really enjoyed his performance. Completely believed that what he was going through was true. So I would recommend, definitely. Let's see. Wakasashi says, looking forward to kind of watching the Rats episode. I think you'll like it, yeah. As long as you're not bothered by claustrophobia, rats, dark, that sort of thing. It's a great episode and definitely my favourite of the series so far, since we're technically now halfway through already. Another 4 episodes to go. Let's see. Brandon says, "Glad you found something great to watch and talk about." Me too. I really missed covering things, and there hasn't been that many really great shows or things that I really wanted to talk about, but this one really did pique my interest. So really glad to watch it and get to talk to you guys about it. Let me say hey to Decepticons Cave of Villains. Great to see you. Good evening. Good afternoon, says that. is a cool-ass show. Absolutely. Really, really cool. If you're watching it as well, let me know. Let me know what you think. I'd love to maybe next week do a kind of, a talk about all of the episodes if there's anybody else who wants to talk about them and kind of pick them apart that way. And hey, to Lord Thruff, great to see you. All Hallows Eve is a great time for this conversation, indeed, and I am very, very happy that they decided to do what they did this time. So, well done. I don't say that very often, but well done, Netflix. The second episode that I wanted to cover today is one that was a little bit different and one that kind of hit me in a different way to previous episodes. So it is called The Outside, and basically, to sum it up, it's the beauty industry is a complete scam. No, I think we've mostly got gentlemen in the chat at the moment, but if we've got any ladies out there, I think this one will hit differently depending on whether you're a guy or a girl. Now, to me, I really, really felt for the main character in this, the whole, again, idea wanting to belong, which is the overarching theme in these two episodes, wanting to be a part of the crowd, wanting to be a part of something. And this one, I think it was more sad for me than scary, but I'll go into it. This one is directed by Anna Lily Amapour. She's best known for directing A Girl Who Walks Home Alone at Night, which is a really good film if you guys haven't seen it, and it stars Kate Micucci. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Um, Really, really compelling character. She plays Stacy in this, and she's basically a complete outcast, and all she wants is to be liked and to be accepted, especially by this group of women that she works with. She's kind of mousy looking, I guess. She's kind of small, keeps to herself. She's got a bit of a lazy eye that they've given her, and doesn't really know how to kind of make the best of her features, but she has a incredibly loving and supportive husband, and he's always telling her that you don't need to be like those women. They're just Cassie. They're all they do is gossip and talk about people behind their backs. You're not like that. You're so much better than that. You know, you're fun, you're smart, you have these great hobbies. One of the hobbies that she does is taxidermy, which comes up later in the episode. But I found it to be a really compelling character, and I felt really sorry for her because, uh, as a woman, I can identify and agree. Sometimes all you want is to be a part of the group, to be one of the girls. Let's see. We've got. Like she said, watched the first half of episode 4 of The Outside last night. It had a really distinctive look and feel to it. It really did. Oh, it was a great episode, and again, fantastic principal cast. All of these episodes have a kind of small cast, but the way the actors and actresses that they picked, I don't think any of them have been terrible in their roles so far, especially each of the leads. The need to fit in, to be accepted is a good story. The lead actress has a great and distinctive look. She really, really does, yeah. I thought she looked fantastic, and as I said, really felt for her. Just wanting to be accepted and to feel beautiful and to I don't know whether to compete, but to be on the level that she thinks these other women are because they're dressed up, they have low cut tops, they wear a lot of makeup, and she just doesn't kind of doesn't kind of get it, even though she tries very hard to be like them. But the price that she ends up paying to be part of them, um, I'll have to leave it up to you guys to decide if it was worth it. Uh, Um, where did I get to? So yeah, it begins with Stacy, very, very lonely. It's Christmas time, all the decorations are up, but other than her husband Keith, she doesn't really have anybody. in her life. The women and the people that she works with, they're not really her friends. So she's feeling kind of sorry for herself and just kind of spends her time watching TV and kind of gets sucked into this whole the infomercials that they have. Um, if you just buy this, then you'll be perfect. You'll have the life that you want. You'll, be accepted. Everything you need is just a phone call away. It's that idea that they kind of work into it. Um, because it's Christmas time, they have a secret Santa. It turns out to be a not so secret Santa, and she ends up getting to have to get a present for the most popular woman in the bank. She's basically the queen bee. She's the one who leads this little gaggle of women, and she's very rich. She has a very rich husband, a big house. She's quite glamorous, and she's always talking about you know, being able to go to saunas, to be able to go to spas, to be able to buy the best makeup and get her hair done, and on and on and on. All these things that she does to make herself look glamorous, and poor Stacey just wants a little bit of that. Now she has no idea what to get this woman, but as I said earlier, one of her hobbies is taxidermy, so she decides to stuff her a gift and bring it. Now, for me, I actually love that idea. I think taxidermy is a really cool hobby. If anybody does it, let me know because I think it's fascinating. But as you can imagine, with this kind of stuck up group of women, it doesn't go down too well, especially when the gift that Gina, who is the queen bee, gives everybody, it's a very expensive tube of this beauty lotion. It's like the top of the range amazing lotion that's supposed to give you incredibly smooth skin, and the other women just go crazy for it. Poor Stacey, she tries to play along, puts a little bit on her hands, puts a little bit on her face, and she breaks out into red blotches. She's apparently allergic to this stuff, and she tries to kind of cover it up, but the night is pretty much ruined, and she has to go home, and she feels absolutely humiliated by it. Again, she tries to fit in, tries to wear this amazing moisturizer, and her skin's too sensitive for it. But she's so upset. Let's see what else you guys are saying. You guys are just saying hi. Good to see you. So Keith sees that her skin is breaking out, and he tells her, you don't need any of that stuff anyway. Stop using it. It's no good for you. Clearly, you're allergic to it. So you might as well just not bother. But she's determined to keep putting this stuff on. She says that, well, if it's itching, it means that the skin's healing. That must mean it's a good thing. My skin's regenerating. Um, so I'm going to keep using it and keep applying it until I get the skin and the look that I want. And she really kind of buys into this whole notion that if you just keep applying it, it'll work out. It'll be just fine. And she ends up buying a great big box of this stuff. And just keeps putting it on and putting it on, and the longer she uses it, the worse her skin gets. It looks almost like it's burned, and she's so kind of sore and itchy. She keeps scratching, and it's driving obviously her crazy because she can't sleep, but it's driving her husband mad as well because she keeps waking him up and she's not listening to what he's saying. He's saying to her, you're perfect. The reason that I love you is for you. It's not because you need perfect skin or perfect makeup or anything like that. I love you for who you are, and no matter how many times he tells her, she's so kind of desperate to be a part of something. She just doesn't see her own worth, and I really kind of felt for her at that point, even though she's making terrible decisions, as you can imagine. Yeah, the kind of turning point of this episode, obviously I won't give everything away, but the goo really does have transformative properties. Uh, and I absolutely love the sequence when we finally see what this goo actually is. Uh, Again, great use of practical effects, really effective, and lead actress completely sells it. Um, so I thought it was great. It was a really, really fascinating idea, and the whole idea of you can get um, whatever you get, you lose. So you can get what you want, but you'll lose what you had, I think is the best way to kind of sum this episode up. So you can be beautiful on the outside, but it doesn't mean you're going to feel any different on the inside, and it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be accepted either into whatever community that you're trying to kind of be a part of. And again, I just really, really felt for her. Wakasashi said, "Are these original stories by Del Toro?" No, this one is actually based on a book. Um, some of them, as I said, are based on books. This one, I think, is also. Let me just quickly check if it is. Yeah, so this is again based on a short story by Emily Carroll. Um, and the previous one was based on a short story by Micah Shea. So I think we've got a couple of Lovecraft stories coming up as well, which is kind of interesting. And I think Del Toro wrote the first episode and I believe one of the later episodes as well. So two of those are his actual stories that he's brought in. Well, let me say hey to Jacob Einstein. Great to see you. Says, hey, Purple. Dropping in to give you a like and say hello. Have a good one. Well, thank you. Thank you so very much. Great to see you as well. Wakazashi said the irony is she had great looking skin, but felt pressured to attain a kind of perfect but impossible beauty. Absolutely, yeah, her skin was just fine. As I said, I mean, she's a tiny, tiny little thing, and uh, the way that they've done her makeup and they made her look, she's kind of mousy looking, but she's clearly, her husband loves her dearly and he doesn't want her to change, but she gets kind of so caught up in this idea of wanting to belong that it doesn't matter. And Daniel, great to see you. Hey there, he says you've got me excited to see these. I have them lined up to watch tonight. That's awesome. I'd love to hear what you think of them when you watch them. As I said earlier, somebody asked you need to watch them in any particular order. Nope, you can start with 4 and work your way back, or you can start at 2 and kind of hop around. So it's a really kind of interesting idea, and a couple of these episodes I will rewatch. So The Outside, I would like to rewatch again because I really enjoyed it. And episode 2, I would probably rewatch as well. Episode 1, not so much. It wasn't my favorite, but these two have been really strong episodes. So this one I would probably give an 8. Again, loved the cast, loved the whole idea, and found it sad rather than scary, even though it's kind of kind of horror, I guess. But it was more. I identified a lot with this particular character, so really loved it. Let's see. Yep. So we've got really excited for the Pickman's Model episode, Burning on the Lovecraft. Indeed, I believe the next 2 episodes are both Lovecraft, if I remember correctly. So I think we've got the Pickman's Model and we've got Dreams of the Witch House as well coming up, which is 5 and 6, and they'll be released tomorrow. So I really like that they've brought 2 Lovecraft kind of back to back. Um, so that should be a fun, fun watch. But guys, like I said, I think once I've finished reviewing all of these episodes, I would really like to do a retrospective, if anybody's interested, just to see what everybody else thought, because I like the whole idea of being able to review these as they drop, but I know it's a little bit more difficult because not everybody has time to watch them. But I hope I've given you guys something to go on and, like I say, trying to avoid too many spoilers, but to give you a an idea of, what to expect if you do decide to watch them. Brandon, you take care. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Hope you have a fantastic night. It says, would be willing to check them out. What service had it? These are on Netflix, but I'm sure you could probably go sailing to find them as well, which is always an option. And great, that would be great if you want to talk about them. That would be fantastic as well. So, guys, I'm gonna keep it short today because I know there is a lot of people streaming. There's a lot of content for you guys to watch. So I will be back tomorrow, same time, to review the next two episodes. Really looking forward to those. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy these little short reviews, these little short streams. Um, Trying something different, and I'm really happy that this was brought out. We don't have a lot of great horror at the moment, and this anthology series is working incredibly well. If they stagger releases again, I think this is a fantastic idea. So fingers crossed that it works for them. And thank you guys. You guys are awesome. So, as I said, I will be back for episodes 5 and 6, same time tomorrow evening and on Friday, obviously. Not sure if I've got anything going on my channel on Saturday, but I will be joining Salty Texas C for more woo woo on his channel on Saturday, and on Sunday we have the Crow retrospective, which I'm really looking forward to. We've got a really cool panel of people to talk about The Crow and talk about the film and probably the book as well. So, guys, have a fantastic night. A huge, huge thank you to everybody who joined today. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the comments and thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful rest of your evening or rest of your day, wherever you are. And I will see you again very, very soon. Take care, guys, and thank you.